Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper, or welcome if this is your first time. This is a partial, anyway, May haul for what I have purchased. I'm filming this early for a couple reasons. This is mid-month for me, but it may not go up until I don't know when, but I am going on a vacation, so I'm trying to film some content ahead. And also, if I do buy books, it will likely be in Boston. Hopefully, we find some bookstores in Boston. But I also don't know that I'm going to be buying a bunch of books because, first of all, I'm mindful of the fact that I don't really need a ton of books, any new ones anyway, because I have a whole shelf of backlist books and another because we're flying. And so you know how that restricts you from what you can carry. Although when I went to Arizona to see my sister and brother-in-law with the family last fall, I ended up with a pretty heavy, big tote bag full of books. But that wasn't easy. It wasn't fun to carry. So let's just assume that I'm going to be cautious and careful, and then I'm going to enjoy these books and then also make good decisions about what to bring home with me. That's the goal. Okay, so let's talk about physically what I hauled in the month of May. Now, I didn't get these first, but I ordered these first. I ordered these from Blackwell's actually in April. So the first one is Conclave. You guys, I loved this book. I loved this movie. I've watched the movie more than once. I'd like to reread the book, but also because of what's happening, this is like the perfect time to buy this, right? And to reread it. If you haven't read this, this is probably one of my favorite books of the last year. And I just don't know what it is about it that calls to me, but it really, really does. And so I just had to have a copy, and Blackwell's had it. And this was the, I think, original paperback cover anyway. It was published by Penguin House. And I am absolutely enamored with Robert Harris in this particular book. So this one, if you haven't seen my videos and my talk about this before, because I've talked about it more than once, this is about a pope who dies in the night. And when that happens, as you may know, because recently this did happen, a bunch of cardinals are then called forward in positions that they have either already had or that they've been set up for in the event that this happens. I have to tell you, the papacy really does create this incredible system whereby all of this happens, and it happens the same way, and it's very secretive, and it's just really well done. Nevertheless, the pope dies. They start the process of trying to, start the conclave and getting everybody in from all over the world to be able to vote and preparing. And because they lock everybody in, they have to have nuns that come in and cook for them while they're there. And just, there's a lot of things that go into this. But what really happens in this book is that the question is, did the Pope die from natural causes, or did something else happen? So when the Pope is found dead, and everybody comes together and does what they're supposed to do, there's some illuminations that occur, and there's some rivalry here. And so the synopsis is quick, but it says, behind the locked doors of the Sistine Chapel, 118 cardinals are meeting in conclave to cast their votes in the world's most secretive election. They are holy men, but they are ambitious, and they have rivals. Over the next 72 hours, one of them will become the most powerful spiritual figure on earth. Who will it be? The Observer says Robert Harris is incapable of writing a substandard novel. That's good news because I bought another one by Robert Harris. But I really encourage you to read this. And if you like it, you could watch the movie, which is also incredible. Oscar-nominated film. I think won a couple. So yes. And then I got The Ghost by Robert Harris. I looked at a number of books by Robert Harris, and this was the one that really stood out for me. And so I thought, this is the next one for me. This says, a body washes up on a deserted coastline of America's most exclusive holiday retreat, but it's no open and shut case of suicide. The death of Robert McCara is just the first piece of the jigsaw in an extraordinary plot that will shake the very foundations of international society. For McCara was a man who knew too much. There's a movie called that, a book too, I think. As ghostwriter to one of the most controversial men on the planet, Britain's former prime minister, holed up in a remote oceanfront house to finish his memoir, has stumbled across secrets which cost him his life. When a new ghostwriter is sent out to rescue the project, it could be the opportunity of a lifetime or the start of a deadly assignment propelled by deception and intrigue from which there will be no escape. Yes, I think this will be good. It got good ratings. The world's greatest conspiracy is about to be exposed. I love how he writes these thrillers about leaders in different ways and really just fictionally shares with us some things that could happen if people are corrupt or greedy or evil. So works for me. I have a dark heart, I'm sure. Not as dark as my sister's. Actually, though, my sister calls hers a wooden heart, so I guess I have dark and she has wooden. The Names by Florence Knapp was my Book of the Month Club pick. Probably none of you are surprised because I actually brought this forward in the most anticipated reads for me in the month of May. When I saw it, I knew this was probably the one I was going to get, and I definitely felt like this was the best choice for me of all of the other books. There were some interesting choices this month, and a lot of people are talking about Book of the Month and how they're bringing forward books that nobody's heard of, and they're very literary and they're very unique. And I think that's probably what Book of the Month has tried to do a long, long time, but sometimes they just don't resonate with every reader, right? So I'm sure they're doing fine, though. The Names is one that resonated with me, and I know it resonated with several of you because we talked about it. So Cora goes off with her 9-year-old daughter, Maya, and she has a newborn baby boy, and she's going to have to name him to put his name on the birth certificate. Cora is not in the best situation. Her marriage is not great. Her husband is not good to her, and she's really carefully wanting to name this child something significant and meaningful that will carry him forward in life. And Gordon wants, of course, for her to name the baby after him. So Cora names the baby, and I'm not sure how this happens, but there are 4 different names for this child. And this spans over 35 years, 3 alternate and alternating versions of their lives. So I guess it's 3 different names, perhaps. So this really discovers what if our lives are influenced by our names or by what happens when we are born. So I can't wait to get to this. It's speculative, clearly. Florence Knapp has written nonfiction before. She lives in London. This is her debut novel. I've really done well with debut novels that have come from Book of the Month, so I'm pretty pleased about getting this one, and I want to get to it for sure. The next one I got is an anniversary copy of The Night and Gale by Kristen Hanna. This is the 10th anniversary of this book, and it was one of my all-time favorites. Still remains in my top list of all the books I've ever read in my life, which is quite something when you think about it. And I can't wait to reread this, but I did not decide to reread this with the group that Lindsay and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, Lindsay at Lindsay's Little Library have created on Facebook. There's a book club group every month, and they're rereading this. They've divided it up into chapters. I was not ready to do that this month because I had a buddy read also about a war so in France, but I will at some point reread it. It has these beautiful edges. Look, mine's a little crooked, I don't know what happened to it. Maybe it's the humidity. I don't know, but I'm sure if I lay it flat with some other books on top of it, it won't be crooked anymore, but it's okay. I'm a little crooked too. This one is about 2 sisters, Viviane and Isabelle, and they live in war-torn France. And when the war begins there, Viviane's husband, is it Vian or Viviane? Trying to remember what her name is. Let me not tell you. Vian. It's Vian, not Vivian. Vian is left without her husband. Of course, he has to go and help to defend their country. And so she's left with her children. And this is a really hard book. It's very emotional. I remember crying. I remember giving it to family members to read, and they were crying. It's very, very beautifully done and difficult. So I'm not going to get to this for a while because I'm in the middle of a difficult book about war-torn France right now, but this one is one I have always recommended to anyone, and this is a beautiful edition of this book. This was published by, who was this published by? Do we know? We do know. This just came out not long ago, and everybody has been sweeping it up. I got mine at Target, if that matters to you. This was published in 2025. So, but the original novel was published in 2015, which is probably about the time that I read it. I have it in paperback, but I may keep that version too. I'm not sure. So then we went to Books A Million, and they had some sale books. They had some $5.97 books and some $7.97 books. So we were gonna have to take advantage of that. And we first got this one. This is mostly for my partner because she's much more caught up than me. But The Brides of Maror by Gregory Maguire, we had never heard of. We have no idea when this came out. I'm certain that this is a beautiful cover. There is no jacket other than this short one, which I think is really clever. But yeah, you can see there's somebody else in that cover. You might be wondering, as we were, what is happening? This is volume 1 of Another Day. It says there is a trilogy, at least planned, but this was published unbeknownst to us in 2021, and we're not sure how this happened. You all are probably saying, oh yeah, we knew about that already, but we did not. This is a first edition, which is also good. And this is about Elphaba's grandmother. So the synopsis on the back says, across the sea from Oz, a green girl washes up on an island of 7 women and girls whose lives are bound by ritual practices. Will her sudden appearance disrupt the fates of those on the island and beyond? And then inside it says, featuring Elphaba's granddaughter, the green-skinned Rain. I think it's going to be great. I probably could read it without having to read anything else. I mean, because it's Elphaba's grandmother. Hilarious, heart-wrenching, and extremely poignant, the Washington Post says. Oh, I almost knocked over my water. That would have been a disaster. And then here's a dilemma. I think I said I ordered Brooklyn from Pengo a while ago, and maybe I didn't say the exact book, but I ordered Brooklyn from Pengo a while ago by Colm Toyven, and I did not get it. And so Pengo refunded my money, which was very sweet of them. But I still wanted to read Brooklyn, and I haven't done so far. I've looked at it a couple times. I've had it in my hand a couple times and just haven't bought it. So the other day when we go to Books A Million, here's this. Yeah, Long Island, which is book 2. So I want book 1, Brooklyn. I want to read that first, obviously, but I can't find it in hardback, which bothers me. But again, this was only $5.97 or something, and so it's fine. I mean, it's fine. If you have a paperback and a hardback, it's not the end of the world. But this is about Ellis Lacey, and this is about their lives, their neighborhood, and on a cul-de-sac in Long Island, the wives, the families. 1976. So this is after Brooklyn, obviously. So I don't want to know a whole lot. That's all I'm reading. It's set in 1976, and it was an Oprah's Book Club in 2024, which is a sticker, so I can take that off. And I'm really gonna, I think, enjoy both of these. These seem like they're right up my street too, because they are about young women coming of age and following their lives and family saga and those kinds of things, and set in a city that I really, really love. So that will work for me. And then speaking of family dramas, this one I got on Kindle from my library. So I'm hauling this because it is a book that I got. I really want to get to this. I didn't get to it yet for my spring TBR. And so I'm still wanting to finish this. Talked about it multiple times, but this is about Kyle McRae, and he comes back. He's been estranged from his family, and his father is ill, and he returns home to be a stand-up guy, I guess, and do what he needs to do for his family. Amazon First Reads sends out a list of books you can get one for free from Amazon Prime membership privileges. And so this month I got A Sky Full of Love by Lorna Lewis. This is going to be published on June 1st. And this was the one, I read the synopses of all of them, and this was the one. So it's also a family saga, which is why I said what I said earlier. So this is about Nora. She's been in captivity for 15 years. Her family has not known if she was alive or dead, and knew nothing about what was happening in her life. But she's freed, and she returns back home to her Louisiana family. She has a grown daughter now, and she has her husband, Quentin. And the synopsis says, so I'm going to tell you that Quentin has kind of moved on with his life, and he has married her sister. This is about the bonds that hold people together, the things that tear people apart, and how do people survive from these kinds of situations? I mean, it is just very, very unique. So I also found that this one had a pretty good rating. It was 4.19. There's not a lot of people that have read it because, of course, it's an ARC still, but I think I'm really going to enjoy this one. And while it is not a backlist title, I may prioritize that because it just sounds like, yeah, and that it's a really pretty cover. I'm hoping it's set in the summer. That would be a lovely summer read. And sometimes publishers do create drop dates for a book depending on when it's set, as you know. So, yeah, that might be a good one for this summer as well. But not a big book summer read for sure. This one is not terribly long. It is 378 pages. Stay tuned for what else I might end up hauling in the month of May. But for now, I'm pretty satisfied with this stack. And so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I got physically, one that I am borrowing from my library, and one that I got on Kindle. So that's not too bad. I have not ordered any audiobooks this month. We shall see how I do in the great city of Boston, and I'll get back in touch with you when I come back. Let me know what you're reading this month, what you're hauling this month, which ones of these you might have read. If you have, do let me know. I'd love to hear if somebody has read that Gregory Maguire, because again, this one took us by complete surprise. I feel like we're terrible bookish people because of it, but it is what it is. So if you would like this video, if you feel like it does help me to show up in the algorithm, and there are a lot of us, so it's nice for all of us to have the ability to ask you to do that, to support us, but you don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to go even further and you don't comment, but you want to leave an emoji, you could leave a, let's see, a nightingale or a bird emoji. That would be fun. So if you want to do that, that also kind of helps when I get comments. It kind of boosts up the desire for YouTube to post my video as recommended to you. But I'm just so grateful for all of you, and I hope you enjoy this video, and as always, happy reading. Bye.